Hello students, today I am going to tell you a new story and the title of this story is The Banyan Tree. Every tree teaches us to be generous. इसका मतलब हर पेड़ हमको उदार होना सिखाता है. उदार means होता है दयालु. You must have seen a banyan tree. See, this is the banyan tree. This one, okay? This is the story about what the author saw as a young boy when he was sitting in an old banyan tree in his grandfather's house. Though the house and grounds belonged to my grandparents, the magnificent old banyan tree was mine, chiefly because grandfather at 65 could no longer climb it. Students, here in this paragraph, the boy is saying that though the house and grounds belong to my grandparents, but the magnificent means huge, old banyan tree, it was mine because grandfather's age is 65 and he is not able to climb on that tree. Its spreading branches which hung to the ground and took root again, forming a number of twisting passages, gave me endless pleasure. Among them were squirrels and snails and butterflies. The tree was older than the house, older than the grandfather, as old as Dehradun itself. I could hide myself in its branches behind thick green leaves and spy on the world below. Now the boy is saying the spreading branches this banyan tree it gives him endless pleasure. See, this is the spreading branches. See this one, okay? Them squirrels, snails and butterflies were also there. Now the boy is saying this banyan tree was older than his grandfather's house, as well as Dehradun itself, and he hid himself behind thick green leaves of this banyan tree and spy on the world below. Spy means to investigate, or in Hindi we can say jasusi karna. My first friend was a small grey squirrel, arching his back and sniffing into the air. He seemed at first to resent my invention of his privacy. But when he found that I did not arm myself with a catapult or an air gun, he became friendly, and when I started bringing him piece of cake and biscuit, he grew quite bold and was soon taking morsels from hand. Before long, he was delving into my pocket and helping myself to whatever he could find. He was a very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him foolish and headstrong for trusting a human. Now, students, first read out these hard words with meaning and note it down in your copy. First hard word is arcing. Arcing means to make a curved shape. Second hard word is sniffing, to breathe air in through the nose in a way that makes a sound. Third hard word is resent. Resent means to feel angry about something because you think it is unfair. Fourth word is invasion. Invasion means disturbing somebody. Fifth word is catapult. Catapult means Y-shaped stick with a piece of elastic tied to each side that is used by children for shooting stones. The spring when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy parrots, manna and crows squabbling with one another during the fig season. The banyan tree was the noisiest place in the garden. Halfway up the tree, I had built a crude platform where I would spend the afternoon when it was not too hot. I could read there, propping myself up against the tree with a cushion from the living room. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, and the story of Dr. Dolittle were some of the books that made up my banyan tree library. हाफ वे अप द ट्री, इसका मतलब ये है कि ट्री के आधे भाग में आई हैड मीन्स द बॉय अपने बारे में कह रहा है कि उसने एक क्या किया था, एक प्लेटफॉर्म जैसा ट्री के आधे भाग में बनाया हुआ था और ज़्यादातर आफ्टरनून का समय हॉट सीज़न में वो वहीं बिताया करता था उस पर बैठ करके. और वो ये भी कह रहे हैं, जो छोटा बच्चा है वो ये भी कह रहा है कि वो अपने घर की जो लिविंग रूम है वहाँ से वो कुशन ले आया करता था और ट्री के सपोर्ट से वो वहीं पे बैठ के बहुत सारी बुक्स पढ़ता था और एक प्रकार से वो उसने अपनी लाइब्रेरी ही वहाँ पे बनाई हुई थी। ट्रेजर आइलैंड, हक्कलबेरी, फिन एंड द स्टोरी ऑफ डॉक्टर डो लिटिल, इस प्रकार की सारी बुक्स वहाँ पे वो पढ़ा करता था। When I did not feel like reading, I could look down through the leaves at the world below. And on one particular afternoon, I had a grandstand view of that classic of the Indian wilds, a fight between a mongoose and a cobra. और जब मैं रीडिंग से बोर हो जाता तो क्या करता, पत्तियों के पीछे बैठकर, जो बनियान ट्री है उस पत्तियों के पीछे बैठकर चुपचाप पूरी दुनिया को देखा करता। और एक दिन ऐसा ही कुछ हो रहा था, एक पर्टिकुलर आफ्टरनून में जब मैं ये सारी चीज़ें देख रहा था तो अचानक से क्या होता है कि एक क्लासिक इंडियन जो फाइट होती है वो मुझे अचानक से दिखी। और क्लासिक इंडियन फाइट में मंगूज और कोबरा की फाइट बहुत ही मशहूर है। The warm breezes of approaching summer had sent everyone, including the gardener, into the house. I was feeling drowsy myself, wondering if I should go to the pond and have a swim with Ramu and the buffaloes, when I saw a huge black cobra gliding out of a clump of cactus at the same time. A mongoose emerged from the bushes and went straight for the cobra. वार्म ब्रीजेस का मतलब होता है गर्म हवाएं, जो समर सीज़न में चलती है। और इस गर्म हवाओं के कारण सब लोग अंदर चले गए थे, इवन माली भी अंदर चले गया था। मुझे भी ड्राउजी महसूस हो रहा था। ड्राउजी मीन्स होता है नॉट कम्प्लीटली अवेक। फिर मैंने सोचा, मैं यहाँ पे कौन है? बॉय। फिर बॉय ने सोचा कि क्या मैं भी नदी पर रामू और बफेलो के साथ चला जाऊँ और वहाँ पे तैर भी लूँगा। And then suddenly the boy saw a black cobra gliding out. Gliding means to move smoothly without noise from the group of cactus. Clump means group or jhund. And at the same time, mongoose emerged from the bushes. In a clearing beneath the banyan tree, in a bright sunshine, they came face to face. The cobra knew only too well that the grey mongoose, 3 feet long, was a super fighter, clever and aggressive. But the cobra too was a skillful and experienced fighter. He could move swiftly and strike with the speed of light, and the sex behind his long sharp fangs were full of deadly poison. It was to be a battle of champions. इस पैराग्राफ में राइटर ये बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जो मंगूज हैं और जो कोबरा है वो दोनों ही स्किलफुल फाइटर हैं। मंगूज जो है वो सुपर फाइटर है और स्नेक जो है वो स्किलफुल है। अब क्या होता है कि जो स्नेक के जो शार्प टिथ होते हैं उसमें जहर भरा होता है और ये जब फाइट कर रहे होते हैं, जब ब्राइट सनशाइन में, देखिए यहाँ पे जो ब्राइट सनशाइन में दोनों एक दूसरे के सामने हैं और फाइट कर रहे हैं। और इधर जो है कोबरा भी एग्रेसिव मूड में है और मंगूस भी दोनों एग्रेसिव मूड में हैं। और जब दोनों फाइट कर रहे होते हैं तो लगता है, राइटर ये कह रहे हैं कि पूरे चैम्पियंस दिखते हैं वो। Hissing defense, his forked tongue darting in and out, the cobra raised 3 of his 6 feet off the ground and spread his broad, spectacled wood. The mongoose bushed his tail. The long hair on his spine stood up. Hissing defense means the sound of a snake. His forked tongue darting in and out. उसकी जो टंग होती है जो कोबरा की, डार्टिंग मीन्स होता है मूविंग इन अ पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन, वो बाहर जा रही थी और अंदर आ रही थी। द कोबरा रेज्ड 3 feet ऑफ 6 feet ऑफ द ग्राउंड, और कोबरा अपने आप को ग्राउंड से 6 feet स्ट्रेट खड़ा कर लेता है और अपने जो उसके वुड होते हैं, जो फन होते हैं, उसको भी वो पूरी तरह फैला लेता है। मंगूज इधर टेल हिलाता है क्योंकि वो भी इतने एग्रेसिव मूड में रहता है। इधर कोबरा तो रहता ही रहता है लेकिन मंगूस भी उतने ही एग्रेसिव मूड में रहता है। इधर मंगूस बस्ट हिज टेल मीन्स अपनी पूंछ को हिलाता है और अपनी जो हेयर है उसको भी वो फैला लेता है, वो खड़े कर लेता है एकदम स्ट्रेट। The combatants were unaware of my presence in the tree. They were soon made aware of the arrival of two other spectators. One was Maina, the other was Jungle Crow. They had seen these preparations for battle and had settled on the cactus to watch the outcome. Had they been content only to watch, all would have been well with both of them. अब यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि दो स्पेक्टेटर्स आते हैं। स्पेक्टेटर्स मीन्स होता है ऑब्ज़र्वर। दो ऑब्ज़र्वर आते हैं देखने के लिए, एक मैना भी आ जाती है और दूसरा जंगल क्रो। अब उन लोग क्या करते हैं, अपने आप को सेटल करते हैं। कहाँ पे वो सेटल करते हैं, कहाँ पे बैठते हैं, कैक्टस, जो कैक्टस प्लांट होता है उस पर वो जाके बैठ जाते हैं और उस पर वो वॉच करते रहते हैं दोनों को। The cobras stood on the defensive, swaying slowly from side to side, trying to mesmerizing the mongoose into making a false move. But the mongoose knew the power of his opponent's glassy, unwinking eyes and refused to meet them. Instead, he fixed his gaze at a point just below the cobra's hood and opened the attack. Now the cobra is moving side to side and he wanted to save himself from mongoose. पर मंगूस जानता था अपने अपोनेंट का पावर। कोबरा इसी ताक में बैठा था कि कोई मंगूस कोई फॉल्स मूव करे। कोबरा जो अपने फन को फैलाता है, अब ऐसा लगता है कि वो मंगूस को कोई बचा नहीं सकता है। उसी समय मंगूस तुरंत कोबरा पे अटैक करता है, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड क्विकली until he was just within the cobra's reach. The mongoose made a pretended move to one side. Immediately the cobra struck. His great foot came down so swiftly that I thought nothing could save the mongoose. But the little fellow jumped neatly to one side and darted in as swiftly as the cobra, biting the snake on the back and darting away again out of reach. At the same moment, the cobra struck. The crow and the myna hurled themselves at him only to collide heavily in midair, shrinking insults at each other. They returned to the cactus plant. A few drops of blood glistened on the cobra's back. The cobra struck and missed again. The mongoose sprang aside, jumped in, and bit. Again, the birds divided at the snake and bumped into each other instead and returned shrinking to the safety of the cactus. The third round followed the same course as the first, but with one dramatic difference. The crow and the myna still determined to take part in the proceeding divide at the cobra, but this time they missed each other as well as their mark. The myna flew and reached its perch, but the crow tried to pull up in midair and turn back. In the second that it took the bird to do this, the cobra wiped his head back and struck with great force, the snout thundering against the crow's body. I saw the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden. It fluttered about for a while and then lay still. The myna remained on the cactus plant, and when the snake and the mongoose returned to the fight, very wisely decided not to interfere again. The cobra was weakening, and the mongoose, walking fearlessly up to it, raised himself on its short legs and within a lightning snap had the big snake by the snout. The cobra withered and lashed about in a frightened manner and even collided itself about the mongoose. But to no avail, the little fellow hung grimly on until the snake had ceased to struggle. He then smelt along its squirreling length, gripped it around the wood and dragged it into the bushes. The myna dropped cautiously to the ground, hopped about, peered into the bushes from a safe distance, and then with a shrill cry of congratulation flew away. तो इस तरीके से तीसरे राउंड में वो क्रो पे अटैक करते हैं, यानी पूरे 3 अटेम्प्ट्स वो फाइट के अटेंड करते हैं बोथ वर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग अपोनेंट्स. इस तरीके से जो दोनों मंगूज है और कोबरा है बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग अपोनेंट्स थे. There were three observer. Okay, so first one is your author, second Mana, and the third one is Crow. After fight for a long time, the cobra became tired and weak. The mongoose caught the cobra into his mouth and put it into the